What's up? Day 2 on the Ram 1500. Back in here, I've already got 3 of the speakers in. I'll show you what I'm doing to the actual panels to make them more rigid and basically make them sound better. So these are the Metro plates, and then you got to cut them, which cutting them sucks because it gets really hot and it starts to melt, and you just end up with these rough uglies, but it doesn't matter. Hardest part is the sides here. See, these things love to snap. So that's why you have to cut them, because if you just try to use pliers to break them loose, these little cut lines they put in there are too thick and you'll just end up breaking it. Take some, this is ballistic mat. So this is ballistic sound dampening. I have a box of it here just as an extra box of sound dampening. It's not like my preferred or anything. I don't really like this aluminum metal like the old school Dynamat, but this is what I use it for. So this is really rigid, it's hard, and I'm gonna place it obviously right over top of that. Then this can be mounted in the vehicle. Once it's mounted, it's gonna be way more rigid than what this little piece of plastic is, and it's not gonna sound like a tinny piece of crap. Then once it's mounted in the vehicle, this seam between here and the body, I go around with another sound deadener, and that actually seals it in. So I know at least one of you has made the comment already, why didn't you put 6x9s back in there? That'll hold 6x9s. 6x9s are better than 6.5s. On the Rams, it has bit me in the ass more than once that 6x9s do not fit in the 6x9 spot. I don't care what Crutchfield says. When I've done speakers in these, many of times I've found the baskets will not set into the 6x9 opening, or the frame is much larger than what the Ram has to offer as far as its plastic frame. You also have a harness. You may have saw when I was putting that 6.5 in, I kind of angled it and had to kind of force it a little bit because there's a plastic tab behind there that actually holds the harness in place, holds the speaker harness and some wires. Now you could cut that off if you want. Problem with that is if you cut that off, there's so much slack in the line, you have a chance of it getting caught in the window and it will rattle. You'll hear the wire slapping against the door panel. You can't maneuver the 6x9 in like you can a 6.5. The other reason, main reason, is I hate 6x9s. I'm not one of those people that's a lover of the by-9s. I don't think they sound good. I think people play them as if they're subwoofers and they try to get too much bass out of them. You're not going to get any more bass than you are from a 6.5 unless you have them in like an enclosure. A 6x9 just does not have the response that a 6.5 does to me. I think a 6x9 being the odd shape that it is, it doesn't stay linear. I don't think that it stays fast enough and transient as a 6.5 does. My opinion. The next steps is I need to do the dash. So I'm going to take the 2.75s, mount them up in the dash. But we do have to do something first. We need to do an inline bass blocker. You have to remember, we're running 4 door speakers and dash speakers off of 4 channels. So the rear channels are going to go to the rear doors, the front channels are going to go to the front doors, and they parallel up to the dash. We do not want full range signals going to the 2.75s. We don't want to cross over the amp so the 2.75s are safe, because then the 6.5s are going to be crossed over way too high. So the solution to that is we put inline bass blocker. If you want to be like a sound quality guy and you're all into it, you can do a 12 dB or an 18 dB passive crossover network up there, whatever you want to do. An inline 6 dB bass blocker will be just fine. What we're trying to do is just keep the bass the lows away from those 2.75s. Now I do want to point out, I have a lot of people that ask me why I use so much audio control. 2.75 inch driver. Cool. Grills. Do you realize that this is very rare? Most companies do not provide grills. And when Audiocontrol told me that they were making speakers, I told them I would not buy them unless they had grills, and I mean grills for every size. And they do. So every size comes with grills except the 3.5s. And I don't know why that is, and I've already bitched to them about it. But the 2.75s, the 4s, the 5.25s, the 6, they all come with grills. That is a huge deal, because if you're doing a 3-way setup and you're doing like these in the A pillars, this alleviates so much work having to make a custom grill or try to figure out a way to put a grill on there. So that's a huge deal. I love the fact that they offer that. On top of that, remember the bass blockers I was talking about? They provide it. So right here, all I gotta do is put this in line. I don't have to go try to find a bass blocker. I don't have to try and figure out what value. I don't have to try and figure out, what crossover point's gonna be the best. They've already done it for me, and it's right here. So this is why I use Audiocontrol, because their products come with so much more than everybody else, and it's all geared towards the installer. Anytime you spend not having to go find another part you need is time saved and money made. So the Audiocontrol products allow me to do installs without having to lose as much time. It allows me to focus more on my custom work I want to do or the fabrication work I want to do, because now I don't have to go looking for a grill. I don't have to go looking for a bass blocker. I don't have to look for anything. It's awesome. So that's why I use Audiocontrol. I only go to other brands if a customer doesn't want Audiocontrol, or Audiocontrol is just not really going to be best for that customer for what they're wanting. But 95% of the time, Audiocontrol is perfect and works fine, and I've never had anybody complain about this stuff once. You see right there, so this will plug into the vehicle. This is the provided inline crossover. I have the male in, so you plug it in there. Then this is going to plug into the speaker. And for the final, we have the 2.75 in the dash. So put that grill on, and that will complete all the speakers, the door panels, everything are back on. We can move on to doing the Amp Pro. It's been 3 hours since I said I was going to do the Amp Pro. I haven't even pulled the radio yet. And I had to make some phone calls, and then those phone calls led to other phone calls because this truck was confusing a lot of us. So with this vehicle, the Amp Pro gets plugged in behind the radio. This has ANC, that's your active noise canceling system. If you put a stereo system in a car with ANC, the microphones will pick up your audio, your subwoofers, and it'll make a backfeed noise and it sounds like crap. Now it turns out that you have to have the APH CH03, which is a harness that goes to the Alpine amp. And you can see I was trying to avoid having to take the seats out, which is why I built this whole floating rack and this cool stuff, and seats out. But not only is the seat out, I'm so mad right now about this. The back, you unhook, you lift and unhook. I've been fighting for 30, 45 minutes. It would not unhook. And you know why it won't unhook? It's because it actually unlatches. There's a latch on the other side of that, and it clicks. But there's a little pull string that's like right here on the back of the seat. Nowhere could you get it unless you're on your back, reach up there with your finger, and you pull it, it unhooks and comes off. Now let me show you what I mean by how stupid this is. Look where the pull is. This is completely tight against the back wall. So the only way to get that is by reaching through the side, which yes, if you put the center armrest down, but who knows that's there? So how many of you 2022 Ram people out there didn't realize there was a little pull tab there that lets you fold your seats down? Now, if you're not picking up the anger in my voice, there's anger. And the reason being is I didn't need to take the damn seat out. If I knew the seat flipped down, I could have just folded the damn seat down to do what I'm doing now. You understand, that's like an hour and a half of undoing them bolts, lifting it up, trying to figure out why it wouldn't unhook, because usually they raise and unhook. If you have a latch, Hey Dodge, crazy idea, put a handle. That was so much work, and all for honestly nothing. I mean, I'm gonna put in this harness and then I'm gonna put the seat back in. Finally found the amplifier, so now I'm gonna pull this back wall off, go ahead, get the bypass plug plugged in, and get the lines ran out to where the amp's gonna go, and then I can put the seat back in, then go up and pull the radio and be back to where I thought I was like 3 hours ago. I don't understand. Is my brain broken? Do you have any idea how many Rams I've done in my life? Why is none of this making any sense to me? The amp's not back here. I followed the wires and they go behind here and go forward. So apparently it is somewhere up there, which is gonna piss me off even more because I guarantee you I've probably stared at it 15 times already. I know there's people watching this right now being like, unsubscribe. I thought this guy was supposed to be good. He doesn't know. Hell, I know that. You will not believe where it is. 3 hours ago, this is what got me going down the whole I'm confused. I was looking right at it. I had to call my boy Jason Ewing because I talked to Pack Tech Support. I talked to multiple shops. I've talked to tons of people, man. Everybody told me someplace and it wasn't. The reason I'm confused, there's apparently like 5 or 6 different Alpine premium sound systems for this Ram. I apparently have never done this setup here. I've never seen this setup. But the amplifier's underneath the driver's seat. Now before you scream like, no shit, hold on. So that is the amplifier. But I already looked at this 3 hours ago, and you can see there's a part number right there on top. I took that part number, I put it in Mopar website, and it came up that that is the ANC module. It did not say a word about ANC/amplifier. It just said ANC. And most of the time, the ANC module is a completely separate box underneath the driver's side seat. That apparently is ANC plus the Alpine amp. So there you go, boys and girls. If this helps you, you're welcome. If you're yelling, making fun of me, I'm sorry. I've never done one where the amp is there. That's usually just the ANC module. The amp is almost always underneath the driver's side dash, vertically above your knee, or it's back with the subwoofer. You see all this crap I took apart for no reason. So the seats are back in. All my wiring from my amplifier has been ran. It's there. Underneath the driver's seat, we have now, learned something today, that the ANC module is also the amplifier, even though Mopar does not list that as the amplifier. But the plugs are done, all the wiring's done. To run the wire, all you have to do is take this pocket completely out. You can reach your hand under the carpet, and then right here's the edge of the carpet. You can grab the wire there. Then you can take your arm underneath there and take it over where the wire is. The floor has metal, like ridges, highs and lows. I ran the wires in the low, then I put Gorilla Tape over that, so you can't feel it on the carpet at all. It's all laying flat within one of those ridges. Up here we have the power wire ready to go through the firewall. We also have the RCAs, the 6-channel RCAs, and the remote turn on. The next step is we need to pull the radio, plug in the Amp Pro harness, feed the Amp Pro plug down to the bottom here, and I usually make a bracket and I mount my Amp Pro up there, and the RCAs and everything, and the remote turn on will all plug in there. I was expecting to be at this point at about 7 o'clock. It is now, I believe, almost 11 o'clock. My shop is a wreck right now. Tools are everywhere. By the time I pick up all my tools and get them put away, it's going to be midnight. So I think I'm going to go ahead and call it. I was really hoping to have the Amp Pro in to be further than I am right now. So I think I'll go ahead, clean up, go home. I'll sleep for 4 or 5 hours. Come back here at 6 a.m. Put in 3 hours of work, then change, go to my doctor's appointments, and then come back. That extra 3 hours could get the wiring through the firewall, get the Amp Pro installed, and then when I get back from the doctor's appointment, that just puts me in line to do the fab work and the sub enclosure and the amp rack and everything. So probably what's going to happen. So See you tomorrow.